The first time Amara saw the old woman, she was standing beside her fruit stall with an empty hand stretched toward a basket of mangoes. Not stealing, not begging, just staring. Amara noticed her because everyone else in Kintaba Market seemed determined not to. It was nearly 6 in the evening, and the enormous open-air market was slowly emptying beneath a copper-colored African sunset. Traders shouted final prices, wooden carts rattled over the dusty road, motorbikes squeezed between pedestrians, while women balanced baskets on their heads and hurried home before darkness. Amara should have been packing too. She had 6 mangoes, 4 oranges, and a small bunch of bananas left. Selling them could mean dinner. Failing to sell them could mean another night drinking water to silence her stomach. At 24, Amara had already learned that poverty made every small decision feel enormous. 1 mango could become tomorrow's transport fare. 3 oranges could buy cooking oil. A bunch of bananas could mean medicine for her younger brother Kofi. Nothing was simply fruit anymore. Everything had become survival. 2 mangoes for the price of 1, Amara called. Nobody stopped. Across the aisle, Madame Sade laughed while counting a thick bundle of notes from her larger fruit stand. "Go home, Amara," she shouted. "Even the flies are tired of your mangoes." Several traders laughed. Amara pretended not to hear. Then she looked again at the old woman. Her dress was faded brown, her sandals nearly broken, and a gray scarf covered most of her hair. Dust clung to her feet. She carried no handbag and wore no jewelry, but there was something unusual about her. Her eyes. They did not look defeated. They looked observant. She studied the market as though she were searching for something more important than food. Eventually, she approached Amara's stall. "How much for 1 mango?" she asked. Her voice was soft. 300 francs. The woman touched her pocket, then another. Her face fell. "I seem to have nothing." Amara swallowed. 300 francs. She pictured Kofi coughing inside their one-room house. She pictured the nearly empty bag of rice. Then she picked up her largest mango. "Take it." The woman blinked. "I cannot pay you." "I know." "Then why are you giving it to me?" Amara forced a smile. "Because hunger doesn't wait until someone has money." Madame Sade burst into laughter from across the aisle. "Amara!" Heads turned. "That is why you will remain poor. You are running a business, not a charity." The old woman slowly lowered the mango. "Perhaps she is right." Amara pushed it back into her hands. "No, keep it." She added 2 bananas. Madame Sade shook her head dramatically. "Tomorrow she'll give away the whole market." More laughter followed. Amara's cheeks burned, but the old woman looked at her differently now. "What's your name?" "Amara." "Amara what?" "Amara Nwosu." The woman repeated it quietly. "Amara Nwosu." Then she asked, "Do you always help strangers?" Amara shrugged. "My mother used to say that you should never make someone prove they deserve food." For the first time, the old woman's expression changed. Something like sadness passed through her eyes. "Your mother sounds wise." "She was." "Was?" "She died 3 years ago." "I'm sorry." Amara nodded. The woman looked at the mango, then back at Amara. "May kindness return to your house." She disappeared into the crowd. Amara thought that was the end of it. She was wrong. That night, rain began falling before Amara reached home. Their house stood at the edge of Kintaba, in a crowded neighborhood where rusted roofs leaned toward one another, and rainwater turned the roads into rivers of brown mud. Kofi was sitting on their mattress when she entered. At 16, he was thin but endlessly optimistic. "How is business?" Amara placed her basket down. "Wonderful." Kofi raised an eyebrow. "How wonderful?" "We are now internationally famous fruit merchants." "So we sold everything?" "We sold enough." That was a lie. Amara turned away before he could read her face. She cooked a small portion of rice and beans. "You're not eating?" Kofi asked. "I ate at the market." Another lie. She gave him the larger portion. After dinner, Kofi opened his school bag and produced a folded paper. "Amara." Something in his voice frightened her. "What?" "The school gave me this." She unfolded it. Outstanding fees. If payment was not made within 7 days, Kofi would be unable to sit for his final examinations. Amara read the amount twice, then a third time. It might as well have been $1 million. "Kofi." "I can leave school." "No." "I can work." "No." "You can't keep doing everything." Amara looked at him sharply. "You are sitting those exams." "How?" "I'll find a way." "What way?" "I don't know yet." He stared at her. Amara smiled. "When have I ever allowed not knowing to stop me?" Kofi laughed weakly. But when he slept, Amara sat beside the window, listening to rain hammer the metal roof. 7 days. She needed more money than she usually earned in a month. For the first time that evening, she regretted giving away the mango. Then she hated herself for regretting it. The following morning, the old woman returned. Amara almost didn't recognize her. She wore the same brown dress. "Good morning, Amara Nwosu." "You remembered." "Names matter." The woman looked at the fruit. "How much for an orange?" 200. Again she searched her pockets. Again, nothing. This time Amara laughed. "You have a habit of coming shopping without money." The old woman smiled. "It appears so." Amara handed her an orange. "No." "What?" "I cannot keep taking your food." "Then don't consider it buying." "What should I consider it?" "Breakfast." The woman accepted it. She sat on an overturned wooden crate beside the stall and peeled the orange carefully. "Do you own this stall?" Amara laughed. "I own the table." "That's something." "I rent the space." "How long have you sold fruit?" 3 years. "And before that?" "I wanted to study accounting." "What happened?" "My mother became sick. My father was already gone. Someone had to pay for treatment and look after Kofi." "So you left school?" Amara arranged her mangoes. Life made the decision. The old woman watched her. "Do you still want to study?" "Wanting is free. Tuition isn't." "You sound angry." "I'm not angry." "Then what are you?" Amara paused. "Tired." The woman nodded as though she understood perfectly. Before leaving, she asked a strange question. "If you suddenly became wealthy, what would you buy first?" Amara smiled. "A giant house." The old woman laughed. "Really?" "No." Amara pointed toward the market entrance. "There's a building near the bus station that's been empty for years. I'd turn it into a proper produce center. Refrigeration, storage, clean stalls. Small farmers lose too much because they have nowhere to store what they grow." The old woman's smile disappeared. She was listening seriously. "You've thought about this?" "Dreams are cheap." "And after the produce center?" "I'd send Kofi to university." And yourself? Amara hesitated. I haven't thought that far. The old woman stood. You should. Then she left. She returned the next day, and the next. Sometimes Amara gave her fruit. Sometimes they simply talked. Her name, she said, was Mama Evelyn. She claimed to have no nearby family. Amara never asked where she slept. On the 5th day, Mama Evelyn arrived limping. What happened? Amara asked. Nothing. You're bleeding. A cut ran along the woman's ankle. Amara immediately pulled out her chair. Sit. I am fine. Sit. Amara bought clean water from a nearby vendor and used part of an old cloth to clean the wound. Madame Sade watched from across the aisle. Be careful, she warned loudly. Some people pretend to be helpless so they can rob you. Mama Evelyn lowered her eyes. Amara looked at Madame Sade. She hasn't robbed me. Yet. Amara ignored her. After cleaning the wound, she bought a small bandage from a pharmacy kiosk. It cost money she could not afford to spend. Mama Evelyn noticed. You shouldn't have done that. It's done. You need this money. So do you. The woman stared at her for a long moment. Then she whispered, Interesting. What? Nothing. Before leaving, Mama Evelyn asked, What would you do if someone insulted you because you were poor? Amara shrugged. Probably continue being poor. Mama Evelyn laughed so loudly that nearby traders turned. Then she became serious. And if you became rich? I hope I'd remember what being poor felt like. Mama Evelyn nodded. That answer is harder than it sounds. The 6th day brought disaster. A municipal inspector arrived at the market with 2 officers. Licenses! Traders scrambled for papers. Amara's stomach tightened. Her permit had expired. Renewing it had been impossible. The inspector reached her stall. Permit! Sir, please, I can renew it next week. Permit! She handed him the expired document. He barely glanced at it. Pack everything. Sir? You're operating illegally. Please, this stall feeds my family. Not my problem. He signaled to an officer. The officer began loading Amara's fruit into a confiscation crate. No, please! Amara grabbed the basket. The officer pulled it away. Oranges rolled across the dirt. One was crushed beneath a shoe. Madame Sade watched silently. Other traders looked away. Nobody wanted trouble. Then a voice came from behind them. Leave her fruit. Mama Evelyn. The inspector turned. What did you say? I said leave her fruit. He looked at her torn sandals and faded clothes, then laughed. And who are you? Someone asking you to show mercy. Move before I arrest you too. Mama Evelyn did not move. Amara rushed toward her. Mama Evelyn, please, it's okay. No, the old woman said quietly. It isn't. The inspector stepped closer. You think because you're old I won't remove you? Mama Evelyn looked directly into his eyes. Power reveals character. The market went silent. The inspector's face hardened. Get her out of here. Amara stepped between them. Don't touch her. Then both of you leave. Amara's remaining fruit was confiscated. Her table was overturned. And just like that, her business disappeared. Amara walked home carrying an empty basket. Mama Evelyn followed her part of the way. I am sorry, the older woman said. Why? Perhaps if I hadn't spoken, he was going to take everything anyway. You defended me. I wasn't going to let him push you, even though defending me made things worse for you. Amara stopped. Why do you keep asking questions like everything is a test? Mama Evelyn's face changed. For a second, Amara thought she had offended her. Then the woman smiled. Perhaps life is always testing us. Amara sighed. I've failed enough tests this week. Your brother's fees? Amara stared at her. How do you know? You mentioned Kofi. I never mentioned his fees. Silence. Mama Evelyn looked away. You looked worried. Amara was too exhausted to question it. At the junction, Mama Evelyn stopped. I won't see you tomorrow. Why? I have somewhere to go. Will you come back? Mama Evelyn looked at her with an expression Amara couldn't understand. Yes. Promise? Promise. They separated. The 7th morning arrived, Kofi's deadline. Amara woke before sunrise and counted every coin in the house. Not enough. Not even close. She sold her mother's old radio. Still not enough. She tried borrowing money from neighbors. They were struggling too. Finally, she went to Kofi's school. The administrator barely looked at her. Rules are rules. Please, give me another week. The deadline was clearly stated. 3 days. No. My brother is one of your best students. That doesn't change the balance. Amara placed the money she had collected on his desk. This is everything I have. It's less than half. I'll bring the rest. When? Amara opened her mouth. Nothing came out. The administrator slid the money back. I'm sorry. Outside, Kofi was waiting. One look at her face told him everything. It's okay, he said. No. Amara. No. I can take the exams next year. She turned away so he wouldn't see her crying. Kofi hugged her. You did everything you could. That sentence broke her. Because sometimes everything you could do still wasn't enough. They walked home. Near their neighborhood, Kofi suddenly stopped. Amara. What? Look. 3 black SUVs were parked outside their house. Neighbors crowded along the road. Children chased one another around the vehicles. 2 men in dark suits stood near the gate. Amara froze. What did you do? Kofi looked horrified. Me? Did you borrow money? No. Fight someone? No. Steal something? Amara! One of the suited men noticed them. Miss Amara Nwosu? Every neighbor turned. Amara's heartbeat exploded. Yes? We've been waiting for you. For what? The man opened the rear door of the middle SUV. A polished black shoe touched the dusty road. Then another. A woman stepped out. She wore an elegant emerald dress. Silver jewelry gleamed at her neck. Her gray hair was beautifully styled. Amara stared. The woman's face was familiar. Impossible. Mama? Evelyn? Kofi looked from Amara to the stranger. You know her? Mama Evelyn smiled. Hello, Amara. Amara couldn't speak. You... She pointed at the woman's dress, then the vehicles, then the security men. What is happening? Mama Evelyn stepped forward. My full name is Evelyn Adebayo. A murmur ran through the neighbors. Kofi's mouth fell open. Amara knew the name. Everyone in the region did. Evelyn Adebayo was the founder of Adebayo Foods, one of the largest agricultural distribution companies in the country. Her trucks carried produce across several provinces. Her company employed thousands. Newspapers estimated her fortune in the hundreds of millions. Amara stared at her. No. Evelyn smiled. Yes. But why were you dressed like a beggar? Amara immediately looked embarrassed. I didn't mean... It's all right. Evelyn glanced at the crowd. May we speak inside? Their tiny room had never held so many important-looking people. Evelyn sat on Amara's plastic chair. Amara and Kofi sat on the mattress. A lawyer placed a leather folder on the table. Amara stared at it suspiciously. Evelyn folded her hands. 3 months ago, I began visiting markets anonymously. Why? My company is launching a program for small traders and farmers. I wanted to understand the people we claim we are helping, without having everyone behave differently because they knew who I was. So you pretended to be homeless? I dressed simply and carried no money. Why me? I visited 37 stalls before yours. Amara blinked. 37? Some ignored me. Some insulted me. A few called security. 2 offered spoiled fruit. Kofi frowned. And my sister? Evelyn looked at Amara. Your sister gave me her best mango. Amara looked down. I also watched her give away food she needed herself, clean my wound, defend me from humiliation, and tell me about a business idea more intelligent than proposals I've received from people wearing expensive suits. Amara stared at her. The produce center? The produce center. Evelyn opened the folder. Inside were architectural drawings. Amara's breathing stopped. On the first page was a rendering of a modern building. Cold storage rooms, clean market stalls, loading areas, training classrooms. A sign above the entrance read, Kintaba Community Produce Hub. Amara looked up. What is this? Your idea. No, it was just something I said. Most businesses begin as something someone said. Evelyn pushed another document forward. My company has purchased the abandoned warehouse near the bus station. Amara stood so quickly the chair fell backward. You did what? We purchased it. Why? Because we're building the center. Kofi started laughing in disbelief. Amara didn't. She looked frightened. You don't even know me. I know enough to offer you an opportunity. Money? No. That answer surprised her. Evelyn leaned forward. I'm not giving you a bag of cash. Amara slowly sat. I'm offering you training, education, mentorship, and a paid position helping us develop the center. Amara stared at her. Why me? Because money given without preparation can disappear. Opportunity combined with knowledge can multiply. The lawyer placed another document down. And, Evelyn continued, Adebayo Foundation will cover Kofi's outstanding school fees and educational expenses through university, provided he maintains the academic requirements. Kofi stopped breathing. Amara turned toward him, his eyes filled with tears. No, Amara whispered. Kofi covered his mouth. Amara. She hugged him. For several seconds, neither could speak. Evelyn quietly waited. Finally, Amara looked up. Why would you do all this? Because of a mango? Evelyn smiled. It was never about the mango. News spread through Kintaba before sunset. By the next morning, everyone knew. The poor fruit seller had been visited by Evelyn Adebayo. Some said Amara had inherited millions. Others claimed she was Evelyn's secret daughter. One particularly imaginative neighbor insisted Amara had discovered diamonds beneath her fruit stall. None of it was true. But the truth was already extraordinary enough. Amara began a 6-month training program with Adebayo Foods. For the first time in years, she entered a classroom again. She learned inventory management, bookkeeping, agricultural logistics, cold chain distribution, food safety, and small business finance. At first, she struggled. Her classmates had university degrees. Some whispered about her. The market girl. Amara heard them. She kept studying. She woke at 4 every morning, worked during the day, and studied at night. Failed her first financial assessment, then scored highest in the class on the second. Evelyn never made things easy for her. That surprised Amara. One afternoon, she confronted her. I thought you believed in me. I do. Then why are you harder on me than everyone else? Evelyn looked over her glasses. Because pity can feed someone for one day. Standards can change their life. Amara sat down. Evelyn pushed her failed report across the desk. Again. Amara smiled. Again. 3 months later, construction began on the produce hub. The abandoned warehouse transformed. Walls were repaired. Solar panels covered the roof. Cold rooms were installed. Local farmers registered to supply produce. Small traders applied for affordable stalls. Amara helped design a system allowing sellers to purchase smaller quantities without paying the high prices charged by middlemen. She also proposed something Evelyn had not considered: a second-grade produce program. Fruit and vegetables that looked imperfect but were still safe would be sold cheaply instead of discarded. Why? Evelyn asked. Amara remembered Mama Evelyn staring at her mangoes. Because hunger doesn't care if a mango is beautiful. Evelyn smiled. Approved. Then came the problem nobody expected. The municipal inspector. The same man who had confiscated Amara's fruit appeared at the construction site. His name was Mr. Bacco. This time, he wore a perfect suit and a wide smile. Miss Nuosu! Amara looked at him. He clearly remembered her. He pretended not to. I hear you are managing this impressive project. Helping manage it? Wonderful. He walked beside her. Projects like this require many permits. We have them. Of course, but inspections can become complicated. Amara stopped. What do you mean? Bacco lowered his voice. Construction delays are expensive. Sometimes a small facilitation payment prevents unnecessary problems. Amara understood immediately. A bribe. Months earlier, she might have felt powerless. Now she simply smiled. Please send every requirement in writing. His smile disappeared. Some things are better handled informally. Not here. You've changed. Amara looked at him. No, you just didn't notice me before. Bacco's face hardened. 2 days later, construction was suddenly suspended for alleged safety violations. The violations were fabricated. Evelyn's lawyers wanted to handle it quietly. Amara disagreed. If we pay him or hide this, every trader here will keep suffering. What do you suggest? Evelyn asked. Evidence. Amara had learned something important from years in the market. Traders saw everything. Madame Sade had witnessed Bako collecting illegal payments for years. So had dozens of others. But fear kept them silent. Amara returned to Kintaba Market. People stared as she walked between the stalls in clean business clothes. Madame Sade crossed her arms. "So the millionaire returns." "I'm not a millionaire." "Not yet." Amara smiled. "I need your help." Sade laughed. "My help? After all the things I said to you?" "This isn't about me." Amara explained Bako's attempt. Said's expression changed. "He takes money from everyone." "Will you say that officially?" "No." "Why?" "Because after you leave, I still have to work here." That was the problem. Amara understood. Then she remembered something Evelyn had told her. Power reveals character. But power could also protect courage. What if you weren't alone? Within a week, 23 traders agreed to provide evidence, receipts, messages, recorded demands, dates, amounts. Amara's company lawyers submitted everything to the anti-corruption office. Bako was suspended pending investigation. Construction resumed. Madame Said visited Amara afterward. For once, she wasn't laughing. "I misjudged you." Amara smiled. "You weren't entirely wrong." "What?" "I did give away too much fruit." Said burst out laughing. Then she became serious. "Why did you help me?" "You testified." "I mean before. Why include traders who mocked you?" Amara looked around the market. "Because if success only changes my life, what was the point?" Madame Said said nothing. 6 months after the black SUVs arrived, the Kintaba Community Produce Hub opened. Hundreds attended. Farmers came from surrounding villages. Market traders filled the courtyard. Government officials arrived. Journalists positioned cameras near the stage. Kofi stood in the front row wearing his school uniform. Amara barely recognized herself. She wore a simple blue dress, not expensive, just new. Evelyn stood beside her. "Ready?" "No." "Good." "Good?" People who are never nervous usually don't understand the importance of what they're doing. Amara laughed. When her name was announced, applause filled the courtyard. She walked to the microphone. For a moment, she couldn't speak. She saw farmers, children, traders, Madame Said, Kofi, and Evelyn. Then she began. 8 months ago, I stood in Kintaba Market selling mangoes from a wooden table. The crowd quieted. I thought poverty meant having no money. But I learned that poverty can also make people feel invisible. Evelyn watched her carefully. I know what it feels like when someone looks through you. When officials treat you as though your livelihood doesn't matter. When people assume that because you sell fruit beside a dusty road, you have no ideas. Some traders nodded. But I also learned something else. Amara smiled. Being poor does not mean being empty. Applause erupted. You can have no money and still have integrity. No influence and still have courage. No certainty and still have generosity. She looked toward Evelyn. One evening, a woman came to my stall without money. People laughed softly. I gave her a mango. Amara shook her head. Had I known she was Evelyn Adebayo, I probably would have given her the entire basket. The courtyard exploded with laughter. Even Evelyn covered her face. But that's exactly why I wasn't supposed to know. Amara's voice softened. Kindness performed for a reward isn't kindness. It's a transaction. Silence returned. That mango didn't make me successful. It opened a door. After that, I still had to walk through it. She looked at the building behind her. This center is for everyone who has an idea but hasn't been taken seriously yet. Thunderous applause followed. Kofi was crying. So was Madame Sade. Evelyn wasn't, but her eyes shone. The center became profitable within its first year. Produce waste dropped dramatically among participating farmers. Traders earned better margins. Farmers received more reliable prices. Amara introduced a microcredit system for women running small food businesses. She returned to school part-time, accounting, just as she'd once dreamed. Kofi earned exceptional examination results and later received admission to study engineering. But Amara's favorite program was the smallest. Every evening, unsold safe produce was collected. Some went to shelters, some to struggling families. Nobody had to prove they deserved it. Above the storage room door hung a small wooden plaque. It contained the only sentence Amara insisted on choosing herself. Hunger doesn't wait for money. 2 years passed. One evening, Amara stood inside the center reviewing invoices. A security guard entered. "Miss Amara?" "Yes?" "There's an old woman outside." Amara looked up. "She says she has no money and wants a mango." Amara froze. Then she ran. Outside, beside the entrance, stood Evelyn. She was wearing the old brown dress, the broken sandals, the gray scarf. Amara stared. "You kept those clothes?" Evelyn smiled. "For sentimental reasons." Amara crossed her arms. "Let me guess, you forgot your money again." "Unfortunately." Amara walked to a fruit stall. She selected the largest mango, then another, then an entire basket. Evelyn laughed. "I only asked for one. I've become financially irresponsible." They sat outside as sunset painted the sky orange. For several minutes, neither spoke. Then Amara asked the question that had bothered her for years. "Why did you really start visiting markets dressed like that?" Evelyn's smile faded. She looked at the mango in her hands. "When I was 9, my mother sold vegetables beside a road." Amara listened. "We were very poor. One rainy evening, she became sick while working. People passed us for hours." Evelyn swallowed. "One woman stopped. She had almost nothing herself. She helped us get home and brought food the next day." "What happened to her?" "I don't know." "You never found her?" "I tried." Evelyn looked toward the bustling center. "When my company became successful, I began wondering how many people like her still existed. People who had little but gave anyway." She turned toward Amara. "I wanted to find one." Amara's eyes filled. "So the program was partly business and partly personal." "Very personal." Amara looked at the center. Workers loaded crates onto trucks. Farmers negotiated prices. Children chased one another near the entrance. Women who once sold tiny quantities beside the road now operated organized stalls. A dream that had once existed only in Amara's imagination stood alive before them. "Did you find what you were looking for?" Amara asked. Evelyn smiled. "I found more." Years later, people still told the story incorrectly. They said a poor fruit seller gave a mango to a billionaire and became rich. Amara always corrected them, because that wasn't what happened. She had not become wealthy because she gave away fruit. She had been given an opportunity because someone noticed the character behind a small decision. And opportunity alone hadn't built the center. Work had. Education had. Failure had. Courage had. Dozens of farmers had. Hundreds of traders had. The mango was merely the beginning. That was why Amara eventually created the Open Basket Foundation. The organization trained struggling young traders across the country. It provided small business grants, accounting education, storage access, and mentorship. Applicants were not chosen because they performed staged acts of generosity. Amara hated that idea. Instead, the foundation looked for people already serving their communities in quiet ways. People nobody was filming. People nobody was applauding. People doing good when there appeared to be nothing in it for them. At every training session, Amara told the same lesson. Don't be kind because you think the stranger might secretly be rich. The room would become quiet. Be kind because they might not be. That sentence traveled farther than Amara ever expected. 5 years after the opening of the produce hub, Amara returned to the exact corner where her wooden table had once stood. Quintaba Market had changed. The roads were cleaner. New drainage channels prevented flooding. Traders had organized cooperatives. Madame Sade now managed one of them. She was still loud. Some things could not be improved. "Amara," Sade shouted. "Come buy oranges. I know you have money now." Amara laughed. "You'll overcharge me." "Of course, success tax." They embraced. Nearby, a teenage girl sat behind a tiny fruit table. She looked exhausted. Amara noticed a little boy approaching her. His clothes were dusty. He pointed toward a banana. The girl hesitated. Amara stopped walking. Sade noticed. "What's wrong?" "Nothing." They watched. The girl looked at her remaining bananas, then at the boy. She sighed. Finally, she picked up one banana, then another. She handed both to him. The boy smiled and ran away. The girl returned to arranging her fruit. No cameras. No applause. No billionaire in disguise. Just a tired young trader giving away something she could probably have sold. Amara smiled. She approached the stall. "What's your name?" The girl looked up nervously. "Nia? How long have you been selling fruit?" "Almost a year." "Do you like it?" Nia shrugged. "It pays my school fees." "You're studying?" "Business management." Amara's smile widened. "Interesting." Nia looked confused. "Why?" "No reason." Amara bought 2 oranges. She paid the normal price. No tricks, no secret tests. Then she handed Nia a card. "If you ever want business training, visit this address." Nia read it. Her eyes widened. "Open Basket Foundation? You've heard of it?" "Everyone has." Nia looked at the card, then at Amara. "Are you?" Amara smiled. "Just someone who used to sell fruit here." She walked away before the girl could say anything else. Sade hurried after her. "So now you're becoming Mama Evelyn?" "No." That looked suspiciously like Mama Evelyn behavior. Amara laughed. "No disguises." "Good. Brown doesn't suit you." They walked through the market together. That evening, Amara visited Evelyn. Age had finally slowed the older woman. They sat beneath a large acacia tree behind her home. Amara told her about Nia. Evelyn smiled. "You gave her a scholarship?" "No." "A job?" "No." "Money?" "No." "A mango?" "2 oranges." Evelyn laughed. "I gave her information about the training program." Very responsible. I learned from a difficult teacher. Evelyn nodded proudly. Then she asked, "Do you think she'll apply?" "I don't know." "And if she doesn't?" "Then maybe the card will remind her that someone noticed." Evelyn became quiet. "Sometimes that's enough." The sun lowered behind the trees. Amara thought about the strange chain of moments that had brought them here. A hungry stranger, a mango, a wound, an overturned fruit stall, a school bill, 3 black SUVs, a warehouse, a classroom, 1,000 second chances. People often imagine that lives changed in one spectacular moment. Amara knew better. Lives changed through decisions, small ones, invisible ones. A decision to share, a decision to defend someone, a decision to study after failing, a decision not to pay a bribe, a decision to return to the place where you once struggled and hold the door open for somebody behind you. That was the real miracle. Not that kindness returned, but that when it returned, Amara passed it on. Evelyn reached into a basket beside her chair. She pulled out a mango. "Are you hungry?" Amara smiled. "I have no money." Evelyn stared at her. Then both women began laughing. Evelyn handed her the mango. "Take it." Amara held it carefully. "Why?" Evelyn smiled. "Because hunger doesn't wait until someone has money." For a moment, Amara couldn't answer. Those had been her words once, spoken from behind a broken wooden table when she had almost nothing. Now they belonged to both of them. Perhaps that was how kindness survived. One person gave it away, another carried it forward. And somewhere, in another crowded market, another tired person decided that having little was not the same as having nothing to give.